Hi, everyone. It's Linda G coming to you from sunny Sonoma County, where almost everyone's insurance is getting canceled, home insurance. State Farm announced a whole bunch of people are getting cut off. My zip code was one of them, but thus far I haven't heard anything. Apparently, the government offers something else, but it's about $1,000 more a year. It's just crazy. It's just crazy, you guys. So Gavin Newsom wrote me and asked me for money yet again. And I said, you know what, dude, work on this insurance thing because this is really hard on people. They're even cutting car insurance and stuff. They've gone cray. I haven't heard anything. Hopefully I'll still have insurance. I don't know, but I feel bad for other people that don't, you're just minding your own beeswax. People like me, I've had State Farm since I was 16 and they're just stepping out. In fact, when I was kind of looking at another house, I called them and they said, yeah, if you sell, that's it. We won't give you insurance. If you move to another state, we will. But if you stay in this county, no, or in California, they're just not writing new insurance policies. Because it's all about the cash, more money, more money, more money. So I also want you guys to know that I heard from Delta. Remember that gentleman in the higher realm of airline for Delta. I'd written him and told him what happened. I hadn't heard anything. Days had passed. In the meantime, I sent my packet to the Aviation Consumer Protection of the Department of Transportation. I've sent to American Express, and I've also sent to Delta, CC. So somebody wrote, said they were representing this gentleman, and they reviewed my case, and they had changed airplanes for 10 hours, I guess, and that they would refund my full amount for all the tickets back to my American Express. So that was good news. But I also said, they had sent me from customer service, if you lost anything on hotel, fill out this form. But I hadn't filled it out because I haven't been charged yet on hotel in Austin. Booking.com called them and basically said, look, she's stuck at the airport. She can't get there, blah, blah, blah. So they may have taken mercy on me. So if they did, I'm going to be highlighting this hotel. Might have been the Hilton or something. But I really appreciate it. So there was some mercy sent. But I will tell you, it was a tough road. And to those of you who don't know what happened, I went to go see the eclipse, which probably worked out because when I watched it on the Weather Channel, where we were going to be was totally cloudy. So anyway, I went to go and they canceled and canceled and canceled and canceled. The last cancellation was we're pushing you to 5. And by the way, we demoted you from first class. Well, first class, let me tell you, it costs more. But for someone like me with degenerative spine disease, I have to be careful about sitting in an uncomfortable spot for too long. And it's very comfortable. And yeah, it's nicer, but if they offered those type of seats in another class, I'd take it. They switched us to Delta Comfort, which is not anything like the seats for first class. They give you about this much more leg room. So anyway, so that was a heartache. And then I almost went Karen because when I was down there, finally they canceled our flight another 2 hours that we're supposed to get back home. And while I was down there, I said, if there's any possibility that there's a cancellation in first class, can you, bump me and the gal was, I'll have you know, there's a list and you're not on the list and it's too late to be on the list. And there's other people before you. I said, look, honey, because the Linda Cray is about ready to come out. I almost told my kids, get the cell phone out. I said, honey, I am first class. I bought this ticket over a year ago to come here first class. And it was Delta that canceled me. Thus far now, it was 5 times, and it was Delta that kicked me off first class. So that was Delta, but they weren't going to accommodate me whatsoever. And let me tell you, the one good thing about that letter I received from Delta was that they were going to forward all the information I sent them and have their people look at LAX, because, you know, that lady I talked to about the people in the little place, Sky Club, that you could stay, they were very nice. And when they kept canceling me and canceling me and canceling me, that's when she rebooked me, because I said, I want to go home. But then she said, we can't do a refund or initiate a refund. You have to do it through customer service. And I did. I called customer service, and that lady was so rude. She said, it's not here. All we have is for you to go to San Francisco. And I said, well, is there a supervisor or something? I said, I'm sitting here holding the paperwork in my hand. I booked this trip a year ago. And it says here, based on my, you know, number, that I'm to return from Austin on the 9th, blah, blah, blah. I even have my seat numbers. They even had us pick out our meals. I'm here. Now, according to here, that you know, she wasn't going to help me. I was so, oh yeah. So anyway, I hope whoever got our meals enjoyed them. But anyway, yeah, it was pretty sad, but they're forwarding it there. The only thing she couldn't answer me on is why I disappeared, why those flights disappeared. There wasn't a good response to that. So that's why I'm glad. As soon as aviation contacts me, I'll let them know. I'll send them a copy of this letter and say, look, they said it's in the works. But if you'll notice, they can't seem to tell me why I got kicked off. Anyway, okay. It's a beautiful morning, you guys. I got a hair appointment later today. Anyway, okay. I wanted to tell you guys, remember that encounter I had with an ET years ago, maybe a year or 2 years ago? I had talked to friends that are interested in terrestrial, interested in ETs coming. I was a little afraid of them. And then I saw like 54 UFOs up at Sedona. It was amazing. I mean, they were UFOs. They weren't planes or satellites, because they would go up like this and go like that, separate direction. So I was just high as a kite with that. Anyway, last night, it was beautiful outside. The stars were sparkling. And you know, I like to talk to universal realm out there, because but I told you, if you take your shoes off, put your feet on the ground and let it happen, it's amazing the type of energies you'll get. I basically was telling them, what can we do to deter this evil in this world? I had a sneeze, so I had to put it on pause. Anyway, what can we do? And I opened up my energy and I asked the higher realm or the ETs or whoever's out there, what can we do? I got a lot of hits, so I want to talk to you now, but I also want you to know, it just happened to be, I taped that show, Ancient Aliens. But may I say, no offense to them, but sometimes they're so out there, because these people are very studious about terrestrials. They're so out there, sometimes it's hard for me to watch. I normally end up deleting it, not watching it all the way through. Just happened to be that this one was extremely interesting. And that really helped me. It's interesting it was that particular show, because that really helped me to know that Putin will not do any nuke, period. He can't, and he knows it, because it's not what the United States is going to do. It's what he's going to deal with, because they've already let themselves be known. Okay, the ETs out. So in 1964, Vandenberg Air Force Base, it was September of 64, did tests for intercontinental ballistics missiles, ICBMs. And what would normally be a strike from a bomber would take 12 hours. This particular missile test would take 30 minutes to hit Russia. So the Air Force was on it. They had this particular guy that did that, that took the video of it. And then he turned his video straight to the Air Force. And then the next day he goes in, they said, hey, come here, watch this. While they were sitting there watching it, this is the truth, you guys. While they were sitting there watching it, they see, you know, it breaks off once, twice, and then the actual missile the third time. In comes a UFO, a round disc UFO, that encircled that and started hitting it with beams. Probably checking it, make sure there's no nukes in it. It started hitting it. It was profound. They were like, so I was like, oh yeah. Because, you know, some friends of mine, he knows a lot about Russia. When the meltdown happened in, excuse me, Ukraine, there was pictures in the newspaper of an actual UFO over the Chernobyl, over the spot that had the most radiation, and it sucked up most of it, like 70% of the radiation. So, oh my God. So, but what happened is they called the CIA. The CIA came in and said, oh, very interesting. Well, we're taking this film and you're going to sign here, and you never saw this. So he kept it to himself, an NDE, whatever they call, and then, or non-disclosure agreement, NDA. So he decided to talk about it later, like almost 30 years later, that he had witnessed this particular thing, which makes me feel good. Because you know what? After the 1953 test that we did, I can't remember if it was New Mexico or wherever, it was a pretty good explosion. And even during Nagasaki and all that stuff, that's when the ships are seen like crazy. Just like that man said to me. He said, well, it's not a man, it's a terrestrial. You have no clue about the fabric of this universe. And if you disrupt it with something like nuclear, it will disrupt all our planets, everything. So they're looking after us for our own good and for their good. But I had to just emphasize on this again. Another thing they talked about was, and by the way, that film is missing, but it'll come back up, trust me. Okay, a UFO. Oh, by the way, I want to say that UFO was followed that ICBM at over 11,000 miles per hour. Hello. Okay. And then the thing burned up in the atmosphere, lost. Okay. Okay. In 1968, Minute Air Force Base, a UFO moved the cover off the silo where the nukes were down there, 20 tons, moved it like, there you go. In 1967, in Maelstrom nuclear facility, they literally went over and turned all the nukes off. And what they were emphasizing is that each one is on a separate. So it's not like a Christmas light. You pull one bulb out and they all go. They're each on a separate. And within minutes, they were able to, well, what this guy that did this, Robert Salas, he said Hiroshima was 15,000 tons of TNT equivalent. These were 1.2 million apiece. So you can imagine how scared they were. And he said they turned them off, bomb, 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 bomb. And the people up on the top, because they were down in the bunker, the UFO penetrated 60 feet of earth and concrete to shut down these missiles. But the guys on the top were screaming and yelling, sir, what do we do? There's a large orange craft hovering over us. And they said, do anything to get rid of it, which made no difference. But they shut them off. Now, I thought they automatically came back on again. Apparently not. Because then when they left, they were off, but they had to work at starting each one of them. And more, this has happened in more places. I know England had something, but these terrestrials, extraterrestrials upon us are here all the time. You know how Tom Morris says most benevolent outcome. I've always had a sense that not only the God force or the angelic force, but I also had a sense that, especially after the book Urantia, which was written, I think, in 1953. Very interesting book. It's almost like terrestrials talking about the certain degrees of terrestrials out there and how they oversee man. They knew all the beginnings of man, exactly what happened, why we have certain emotions. If you get a chance, it's called the book Urantia. I think you can read it online. Urantia. Anyway, it's so thick, I actually haven't gotten through all of it. But it even talked about the life of Jesus, who he was, what happened. But, we're not meant to be killing everybody off. So these people like Hamas, Netanyahu, Trump, these people that want to cause great harm to those around us, will not linger. They're not going to happen. Because while I got a vision when I was outside, I think Putin and Trump, just FYI, might dissipate at the same time or close together, because I saw both of them running and then like they just turned into dust. So, we already got our Hitler and Mussolini and all these cray-crays. For some reason, this is allowed, but it's supposed to make us stronger, not to make us weaker. And it's extremely interesting. There's so much more I could tell you about encounters president has had. I know Ronald Reagan was on a plane flying back someone, there was a light, and he said, follow it. And even the pilot, gave a testimony. They followed it till it elongated and disappeared. But he was like, whoa, but he got a little bit phobic that he thought they would come to attack us. That's where he started Star Wars. So, but no, they're not coming to attack. And listen, with the abilities they have, if they wanted us gone, they would have taken care of that a long time ago. So look it up, do me a favor, read on Vandenberg Air Force Base, September of 1964. Take a look, see, the Maelstrom Nuclear Factory, 1967, the 1968 Minute Air Force Base. And Jackie Gleason loved UFO stuff. Jackie, there was a president, who was it? It was Richard Nixon. And they were golfing and he loved it. And one night, his wife, Jackie Gleason's wife, said that they show up, a limousine shows up with no Secret Service and takes Jackie Gleason, I guess, to the 40, the place where they had taken that that UFO that had crashed. And Jackie got to see pieces of UFOs, pieces of bodies. And when he got home, he was just overwhelmed and he told her everything. And then I guess they got divorced and she told everything. And of course, Jackie Gleason and Richard Nixon never said a word about it. But they did say something that was interesting, that apparently Democratic presidents don't have the input, the CIA or whoever's handling this, like Republicans will get. It's interesting. So we'll see. There was one guy, I can't remember who he was. I think he's from New Mexico. He was running for president, I think when Hillary Clinton was running too. And he said, yes, he'd seen a UFO and he believes in them. And that's that. They said that cut his ability to win. But he had to tell the truth. Okay. Yeah, they penetrated 60 feet of earth and concrete. That's amazing. Turned each one of them off. I know in the UK, one of those shows, Unsolved Mysteries or something, talked about all these guys that saw a craft and how it turned off everything. It was amazing. So, okay, so now I wanted to get into a little something. I want to get in to this trial coming up on Monday. I keep waiting for some last minute thing from Trump, trying to put it on hold. So they're going to pick the jury on Monday. We want to ask this trial that's coming up in New York with Cohen and everybody, Hope Hicks, the whole gang is going to be there. How's it going to work? Okay, so I'm seeing some circles of potential jurors being kicked off. I don't know what that is. It's going to be a hard thing to go because they're asking, do you watch any of the news media? What do you know? I mean, who's going to go? I would be suspect of people who say, no, I don't know anything. I would be suspect. Like someone like me couldn't get on the jury because I was talking about this stuff. This is what I heard. I'm just going to tell you. And Trump is already going to start showing his frustration. I see arguments back and forth. Maybe even delayed arguments. They might fight every single juror that gets picked. This is weird. I just saw that. I see the judge getting frustrated. Judge Marchand isn't supposed to be, favorable to either side, but there's a part of Trump that he hates. Too bad Judge Judy couldn't take care of it. Give us the outcome. Tell us what's going to happen for this trial. I think this judge is going to what I saw him with like a whip and making things go into place. Not that he's hitting people, but it's like, let's do this. Let's do this. Yeah, see, he's going to be in charge, even though they'd like to take over. That's a lot of struggle, a lot of infighting. I wonder if Trump's going to fake it like there's going to be some burnout and hard work. I don't even know, maybe Trump is not feeling well. So the sun is the basis of it, which is the light shines on the truth. So that will happen. And don't forget my hit that Trump is going to do something, show his rear. And the judge has to ask them to leave. He didn't impress the jurors before when he acted out. And I'm sure his attorneys are telling him, zip it, dude. But for some reason, he's still going to act out. Now, the Two of Cups means negotiations. So some sort of negotiation is going to happen. He might even say, okay, what if he might try to do that, go from a felon to something else. I don't think that's going to work. We will all be happy with what takes place here. That's weird. I just saw I don't know these reporters, but 3 of the reporters from MSNBC that might be there throwing confetti. So it's like, oh yeah, oh hail to the yes. He didn't get away with something. Look at this, you guys. That's the outcome card. Justice will be served. You know, there could have very easily been, well, don't forget that there was, don't forget that there was a Trumpster that was on one of his juries that voted against him. And even if they get a Trumpster on there, I feel that after the preponderance of the evidence and everything that's happened, that they say, yeah, guilty as charged beyond a reasonable doubt. He's going to get hit with a fine too, you guys. It could take 7 weeks, or it might not end until the month of July. But it's going to kind of wear people out, because it might even wear us out, where we're like tired of watching it already. Because I see them arguing every single thing. That's my hit on that trial, you guys. It's going to work out. Be patient. Now, the creme de la creme. The Arizona abortion fiasco from 1864. And did you see the info on the guy that wrote that thing in 1864? He left his wife in Missouri with 2 kids. I think he kidnapped a Hispanic girl, 14 or something like that. Anyway, he likes them young. I think he was married 4 or 5 times. But just a pig, you know, just somebody that you wouldn't want making choices for women. And even Carrie Lake is getting a hold of Congress in Arizona, say, look, you got to turn this around. Because she knows, even though she said, oh, yeah, you know, she's two-faced. And she's told Trump too, I know, I just felt when this happened, just like when the Dobbs thing happened, ta-da, like boom, this is it. This is the same. Excuse me, that because, you know, even the economy has taken a little bit turn, not huge, but enough that people, you know, they like to bitch the economy. And that could have affected the Democrats had it not been for this. This is the saving factor. This is where women, as we've said before, women will come out and say, oh, hell to the no. This is I see Arizona going blue. Positively 100%. I do not see Carrie Lake winning. She's going to blame those judges. And by the way, those judges will all get voted out too, by the way, for sure. So let's look at Arizona with this. People are in shock that they did this. It's so fascist. I mean, it's and they picked before Arizona was even a state. Arizona didn't become a state till 50 years later. And you're going to take this guy who was a, you know, loved his child brides. Oh yeah, people are shaking their heads. This is something, Alito. Did you see they're even talking about George Bush? He's put in Alito and Justice Thomas. They both wrote on the Dobbs thing or whatever. And they said, look at Bush, he's hiding in his house because they want to know, what the heck were you thinking? I don't think he knew they'd be that bad. This is not adding to anybody that's in that position. This is not helping at all because they're not even saying what's really going to hurt everybody is the fact that doctors are just going to pack their bags and go. Like this one woman was crying and her niece just got pregnant and, you know, she wants the baby. She's hoping for a great outcome, but she's afraid she won't get the care she needs because they're not going to deal with these cray-crays. So, ooh, it's going to work out okay, you guys. It's going to go for the benefit of, yeah. You know, and Robert Kennedy is for preventing abortions. Look at that. Look at that. Traditional ideas. That's them. They were sitting there with all their Oh, look at this. Overturned, you guys. Overturned. Something will come up. I see masses of people. Thank you. They said there's more good people than bad. Thank you. And there's more good people. But you know, even the people that say, oh yeah, we're for Trump and all that, I see people saying that out loud and secretly voting against him. And part of the reasons they don't want to be harassed and they're in a red zone, but also because men do not want their daughters to have to carry a child full term if they've been assaulted. They just don't want that. So that's beautiful. So I just answered 2 questions, but I'm going to just take a look with the ETs and see if I can get any kind of message, okay? And then I gotta go because I gotta go get my hair done. I think I see that male ET's face again. What do you have to tell all of us? He just showed like this beautiful earth with these waterfalls and clean air. And he's saying you have the power to hold all possibilities. Humans with so little faith. As you say, Linda, get out of your own way. Sit quietly and ask for the help from the realm and from God, and know that we are with you. They watch us like a hawk, like they've got us everywhere. So Putin could not do nuke if he wanted to. That's what they're saying, okay? It's almost like if anything happened, it might be a nuclear accident, but it would affect him. Yeah, they can't interrupt with our free will. So then they're not going to go in and make Trump and Putin dissipate. But let me tell you, enough pressure is happening where we as humans are saying enough. The honesty is what the hard part is. Trump is just cray. Let's just look at Trump because I feel like he's getting sick. Hold on. And then I got to go. Tell me what you want to tell me. Tell me what you want to tell me. It's like a power outside of ourselves. This is as prophesied, but this is the God card for me and celebration that we will have an opportunity to get through this. Temperance will see us through. So try not to be reactive. Like I tell you guys, don't knee jerk on everything. And the economy is actually going to be okay. But you know, look what they're doing here in California. They're cutting off insurances, even car insurances. And if you want insurance for your house, you got to go through something else, which is $1,000 more. And a lot of people can barely afford what they got. It says avoid arguments with the enemy. And I think we're getting burnt out, you guys. I think we just need to turn off the TV and move forward. So there's still more heartache coming, you guys. I'm so sorry. Pressure and suspicions. There's going to be, it's almost like I see other people's names coming out like cockroaches. Did you know this person was involved in this and this person? So if you're going to do ugly, what goes around comes around a lot faster. And if you put out good, good's going to come to you a lot faster. So think about that, you know, and try to get out of any kind of negative energy from from outside sources. Don't be so reactive. You know, I get a lot of emails. Oh, they've just said this on, you know, try not to be reactive. Try to allow, because we do have natural phenomenon coming as far as earthquakes and hurricanes and stuff. There's weather and stuff coming up. But as long as we vibrationally and cover the earth with that white soul energy, we will get hits about when to go, where to go, what to happen. Protection is here for us, they said. They can't take away our free will, but they can stop. They don't want us to jump when Putin says, if they dare do this, I'm gonna nuke, or Iran or anybody. They're not gonna be able to do it. They will stop it. That's what I got midstream. Boom, they will stop it. They even have ETs dressed as humans on the earth in high places. That's interesting. Oh, I'll look at that more later. That sounds very interesting. We should do a movie about that. Okay, you guys, love you all. Our ancestors are here too, wanting to say, I just saw Quantum Parker. He just walked through my vision just now. So, big love to you all. And I'll talk to you, let's see, definitely not Saturday, but probably Sunday.